Hi, Glenn McGrew here, and I'd like to talk to you today about lactose intolerance. No, I'm not referring to milk allergies. Now, I'm sure that there are people who suffer from milk allergies. I'm not talking about that. I just want to talk about people who have problems digesting lactose. Lactose is a combination of glucose and galactose, making it a complex sugar, and for some reason, our bodies produce a lovely enzyme called lactase that digests it. Unfortunately, the lactase is generally produced when we are a baby into our childhood, at which point we're supposed to stop consuming dairy products because it's not part of our diet naturally. There is a genetic mutation that allows certain people to consume it, primarily certain Caucasians and Africans, for which there is that mutation. But on average, most people cannot properly digest lactose. What does that mean? Well, it means that the lactose goes into your system, and instead of being digested by the lactase enzyme, it ferments. Do you know what that means? Well, first of all, it means gas. It may also mean nausea, and it'll cause diarrhea. Now, some people can have a reaction in as little as 30 minutes to eat lactose. On the other hand, it takes me a while before my body does anything, but eventually I do still start to feel bloated, and it takes about 3 days for me to get back to normal if I consume too much lactose. If it's a little bit, your body may just pass it through with some gas and it'll be okay. If you get a lot of it, however, you're going to end up with at least some lovely diarrhea. Don't we all just love diarrhea? I know I don't. Anyway, so those are the primary symptoms of lactose intolerance: gas, nausea, and diarrhea. I love eating dairy products, especially custard. Here in Milwaukee, it's the number one place for getting custard, and we've got some amazing custard places. Unfortunately, as I discovered last year, I have a problem with milk and other dairy products because of the lactose. My body, probably because I stopped consuming dairy products for a long time, but also because of age and because of a declining production of the enzyme, my body became intolerant to the lactose. Now, that really kind of sucks for me. What can I do about it though? Why does it happen? Well, like I said, it happens because of age. It may happen because of an illness or an injury. You may accidentally kill off bacteria in your guts that are helping to digest it for you in a non-fermenting way. And there are other things as well. What can you do about it? Well, it's pretty simple. I'm sure you've probably heard of Lactaid, which was as far as I know anyways, the original company that produced the lactase enzyme. Now, Lactaid produces theirs from a specific kind of fungus, and some people are allergic to that. So, if you're going to take a lactase supplement like Lactaid or the ones that are produced by Walgreens, CVS, and various other companies, you'll first want to try a small amount of it and see how you react to it. If you are, for example, vomiting or experiencing symptoms you don't experience when you just consume dairy products, you're definitely going to want to stop. Okay? Very important. Don't abuse your body. Now, if, however, you don't get strong reactions, and I'm sorry, I should explain that actually vomiting is another symptom of lactose intolerance. However, if the symptoms you're experiencing after taking the lactase enzyme are strong, you'll want to stop. If it's not like what you used to experience before trying the enzyme, I mean. All right? Very, very important. You don't want to do damage to yourself because you're taking an enzyme that's from a source that your body doesn't tolerate. Okay? It's bad enough to have one thing that you can't tolerate, let alone two, the lactose and the lactase together. Not a good idea. So you'll want to find an alternative source that doesn't use what the supplement you're taking uses to produce the lactase enzyme. All right? Now, if you would like to reduce the risk of becoming lactose intolerant, there are things that you can do. For example, you can never go for a long period of time without dairy products. Okay? I realize that for vegans this is going to be a challenge, and there are vegans who believe that this is not true. However, when your body stops consuming dairy, your body stops producing the lactose enzyme. And I'm guessing that I was probably partially intolerant to lactose most of my life because of the symptoms that I have noticed. But this is the worst it's ever been. Now, I started off with Lactate Original Strength. Why? Because I didn't know which one to take. The information on their box wasn't very good, and I thought, okay, this is the cheapest. I'll start from here and see what happens. Now, on the box, it does recommend that you start with 1 tablet of their original strength one, which you consume with your first mouthful of dairy products. So you're going to chew it up with whatever it is you're consuming, and it'll go to work. I discovered that in my case, 1 was not enough. Now, here's the thing about enzymes. Enzymes don't kind of like reproduce in your body like a bacteria. They're limited, okay? So that tablet that you get, if you're taking a large amount of dairy products like milk, for example, that 1 tablet isn't going to be enough. Sadly, Lactate doesn't provide information to help you to figure out how much is enough. How many tablets do I need for milk? How many tablets do I need for ice cream? How many tablets do I need for sour cream, cheese, butter, and so on? There's no clear information that I noticed anyways. So if 1 isn't enough, you try 2, and that's what the instructions say. So I tried 2, and that wasn't enough for me either. So then what I did is I looked around, and I found something from Schiff, SCHIFF, and it's called Digestive Advantage. It's the enzyme plus probiotics. And I thought, okay, I'll give this a try with my lactose medicine, if you want to call it such, the enzyme lactase. And I did also try versions of the lactase from Walgreens and CVS. So it's about the same, really. I did also try higher strength ones as well, and I just wasn't satisfied. So I added in the Schiff along with the lactase supplement. And what I discovered is that worked a lot better. I had consumed it for several weeks. I consumed about 2 boxes of the Schiff, maybe 3, and then I kind of stopped using the Schiff to see what happened, and I've noticed that I am more tolerant of lactose now. So the probiotics seem to have increased my tolerance of lactose, which makes sense. When I was living in Indonesia, I used to sometimes get bacterial infections in my intestines as a result of contamination from like rats and stuff like that, which is a common problem there. And I discovered if I had a bad case of diarrhea that didn't go away after a day or 2, if I consumed a product called VitaCharm, which is a yogurt beverage, and I usually found that the most effective one was the white one, the original flavor. I found that this product was really good. If I took 2 bottles and then a couple more, I drank 2 more bottles, my diarrhea usually went away. It doesn't always, because it depends on what's causing the diarrhea. But if it was a bacterial infection that was lasting for days, and I had one that lasted for a week where I was frequently going to the bathroom, and it was very, very, very thin. It was like in and out. It seemed like it was an instant, okay? But I found that after I took the 2 and 2 of the VitaCharm white, that it was really effective. It got rid of my diarrhea, in fact. Yakult is another brand that's Japanese instead of Indonesian. Unfortunately, while it is available in America, I found it wasn't as effective as VitaCharm. And one person did claim to me that Yakult stole their recipe from VitaCharm. I don't know if that's true or not, but my point here is that probiotics can be helpful to your digestive system. Everybody's got a biome in their guts, and also the biome communicates in a way with the brain, because whatever your dominant bacteria is, it's going to request from your brain specific types of food. So if you're having trouble changing your diet, it may be because the second largest nervous system, which is in your stomach, is being manipulated by the biome in your stomach and communicating with the first largest, or sorry, shall we say the largest nervous system in your body, the brain, to manipulate you into giving the food that the biome wants, or rather the bacteria in your biome want. Now, if you're having trouble switching from a high meat diet or a high carbohydrate diet to a better diet, a more plant-based diet, It may be because you've got an imbalance of the bacteria that love meat or carbohydrates in your stomach, and you'll want to slowly wean yourself off. I don't recommend a fast change. Just go for a slow change, okay? Now, getting back to the lactose intolerance, there is some other good news, okay? Now, for those of you who don't have problems with guar gum, xanthan gum, and other carrageenan and stuff like that, like I do, you can look to milk substitutes if you want to continue to consume like milk and ice cream, and to a lesser degree, cheese. You can get, for example, soy milk. You can get also rice milk, coconut, almond, and I believe flaxseed, and there are even a couple of other ones. In addition, there are lactose-free milk products, primarily made by Lactate, and it is very expensive. It's cheaper if you go with the milk substitutes. I can't because of my intolerance of those gums and carrageenan, but you may be able to. And some of them are very good sources of protein. Some of them are very good sources of calcium. Flaxseed is actually high in calcium for one. Soy is high in protein, so you should be able to make use of those and avoid dairy to a large degree. Now, there is some other good news, and that is that some dairy products have far less lactose in them than others. Milk is very high in lactose, but fermented products such as real buttermilk. And now when I say real buttermilk, I don't mean the buttermilk you get as a result of producing your own butter. I mean buttermilk that has been fermented by the appropriate, I believe it's a bacteria, but it could be a fungus, I forget. The real buttermilk, okay. Another source is Kefir, depending on who you talk to. This is a milk that has been fermented using a colony of bacteria and yeast that come in tiny little translucent grains, and they consume the lactose, so that it becomes pretty safe to consume also. You're probably going to want to add some sugar and some flavoring to it because it may not be to your taste, but you can flavor it, okay? Another choice is hard cheeses. Hard cheeses, because of the aging process, tend to have low lactose. So if you do some research, you'll probably find other things, perhaps sour cream, heavy cream. Those are low in lactose. Now, soft cheeses tend to be higher in lactose, like brie and ricotta and mascarpone, so you're going to want to be careful with those. And if you're looking at sour milk, it may be a little bit lower than regular milk. So there's a variety of choices out there. If you do your research, you'll be able to find sources of dairy. But the honest truth is you don't need dairy to survive. Dairy isn't good for your body particularly. It's actually not necessary for teens and adults, even older children. And so don't listen to the hype, the propaganda from the dairy industry. Dairy is not what you need for your body. Okay? In addition, if you want calcium, there are much better sources of calcium. Cauliflower, broccoli, flaxseed, small fish that have small bones. You can actually eat small fish bones. It's not going to kill you. It's those giant fish bones that are like this big and look like a thorn off of a, I don't know what, that are dangerous. But you can chew up and consume small fish with their bones, or even larger fish that have small bones. That's a great source of calcium. In Asia, where they consume a lot of fish, that's how they get their calcium. And there are other sources of calcium that are better than milk as well. So between milk and protein, you don't need milk for protein also, because protein can be found obviously in meat. It can be found in soy products and other sources as well. So please, you don't need to have milk, but if you want to have milk, I've given you some ideas on how to continue to live your life with dairy products. I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you very much. Bye.